Everyone, I'd like to welcome you all to this Town of Cedar Lake Stormwater Board meeting on September 14th, 2021. If you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, start off with a roll call.
Thomas Frick, Dan Enright,
Sure.
Ryan Lisek,
Yes.
Don Oliphant,
Here.
Jill Murr, here, Eric Bosma,
Here.
Robert Carnahan,
Here.
Wendy Schmidtke, here.
All right. We did have minutes from April 13th, May 11th, June 8th, and August 10th.
I have these to have you sign either now or after the meeting.
Look, we
They
can
were never
sign them after
signed.
the meeting.
Okay.
Still need to be approved.
Yeah, they still need to be approved. I don't know, I'd want to review them before,
I agree.
so if we could review them, put them off to next month,
Okay.
and just do them all like you tried to do right here, I apologize. But we do have August 10th meeting minutes. Did you have a chance to review them?
Yes, I did.
All right. Can I make a motion to approve the August 10th minutes?
Second.
All right.
Dan Enright,
Dan?
Dan,
Dan? Yes.
Thomas Frick, Ryan Lisek.
Yes. Okay, moving on to new business. Cedar Lake Eco Restoration at Lake Heritage Parks.
So for the eco restoration project that the town is going to be doing, and Bob, if you could chime in at all from a council perspective, one of the things we'll be needing is some easements to run the slurry pipe through. One of those pipes and easements we'll need is in Lake Heritage Park. One of the things we would like the Stormwater Board to consider is a form of an agreement to be considered for them allowing us an easement, us waiving stormwater fees for a period of time while we need this easement.
Is that Brenda Roberts' old property?
Yes.
Yes.
How many properties?
It's what, 150 acres?
10 parcels, I believe.
There's multiple parcels.
It's owned by the Lake County Park Department.
If this is one of the things you would consider, I'm sure there would be a time period that would be put in the agreement.
Okay.
It wouldn't be for eternity.
They're requesting, I think, 10 years, is what Rick told me. Which they do about, right now they're being billed $126.50 monthly, and then $15.18 annually. It'd be about a little over $15,000 over 10 years.
What's the whole project? Is it just making it into land that can be developed?
No, so
No.
this is the lake ecosystem project where they're going to be dredging the lake
Oh,
and running the dredged materials by pipe to an off-site
This property.
off-site facility to dewater the slurry materials, and then the water would eventually make its way back to the lake.
So I'm talking about the wrong property, I think.
That's the property that Brenda sold to them.
Oh, yeah, for the Lake County Park?
Yeah, this was.
You said,
Brenda's.
Jill, that the county owns the property?
Yes, Lake Heritage Park, so it's part of the Lake County Park system.
Okay. And they don't intend to develop it, they just wanna have it a natural habitat for people someday, I guess, to visit it.
Yeah, all those parcels, the Cedar Lake Marsh are pretty much all owned by Lake
Heritage
County
Park.
Heritage, yeah, except one, which is owned by.
And how are they
Central
gonna
Marsh.
convey the water back and send?
Some may come back via pipe, other will just naturally, the way the watershed is, it will make its way back across land.
It's
back
all,
into-
yeah, it'll all be overland return.
And with all that extra water, they'd be able to handle, would be able to handle that extra?
This is the easement for the pipe.
Yeah.
So we so the
Okay.
dredged materials are going to be conveyed to the dewatering facility via a pipe.
So there's
So-
gonna be a facility built.
A facility will be built on on the town's property, but to get the slurry material, the material being dredged out of the lake to our property, there will be piping and we will need easements through various properties, one of them being Lake Heritage Parks. So, in lieu of a traditional compensation of a check, one of the things they were asking for is a waiver of stormwater fees for that property for a period of 10 years. Currently, that equivalent is just over $15,000.
Per year?
No,
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 for
no.
for the period for a 10-year period.
Okay, thank you.
If this is something you would consider, perhaps a favorable recommendation to the town council to allow them to negotiate this.
I'll make a motion that, we agree to waive the fees for a 10-year period, and only write a 10-year period.
And can I do that as a favorable recommendation to the town council, Dan?
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't know if it was, a motion was in order or not.
Motion, I'll second it.
Dan Enright,
Yes.
Ryan Leesick,
Yes.
Thomas Rick.
Thank you.
Can't believe it's actually happening.
Yeah, no kidding.
Clean up the lake.
Next year, plan.
Nice.
All right, moving on to old business. Mr. Becker at 7513 West 136th Avenue.
If I could report on this for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this afternoon, your town manager, Rick Everly, forwarded to you, Ryan, Don, and myself, the buyout application for the Indiana Department of Homeland Security BRIC pre-application was submitted. The pre-applications are due by September 17th. This is the first step in the request for the federal funding of a potential buyout of the property. The applications will be reviewed by FEMA and Indiana Department of Homeland Security. Once that initial review is completed, we will be notified as to whether or not we can proceed with a full application. As we are a sub-applicant, the Storm Board would have to pay 25% of the cost of the buyout if we are successful in our efforts. He had provided a copy of the application, which is everything that we had previously discussed about this project and the potential buyout of that. We do not know how long this review process will take to find out if we can even complete the full application. Mr. Everly has communicated this information to Mr. Becker. I would recommend that we could potentially move this to an update item, and there potentially could be no update for several months.
What's the value of the stormwater account?
The value that we would have to pay of the
Yeah.
buyout,
Of the $40,000?
I think it's,
it would be
Yes,
approximately $40,000.
The value of the property is $129,900. 25% match would be $40,000.
We included costs for demolition and for detention construction afterwards, so the estimate was somewhere in the low 200s, I think.
Correct.
So that would be added on?
No, so the request, you had to provide an estimate for basically what you were requesting for the grant.
Right.
I believe Rick came up with a number that was around 215 or something like that, if I remember right. So it'd be 25% of the awarded amount, would be around 50-ish, I think. I think that's what we ended up doing.
Yeah, we came up with about 275.
275, so even more.
Any,
So 68.
68.
Well, and 68 would be 25%. Because we're pretty confident it'll appraise for more than the assessed value, just based on the home market right now. So we juiced it up so we weren't underestimating it. So since we didn't have an appraisal, you know, in our hands before the application was due,
Yeah.
pretty much made a call.
Is there, so it has been submitted already?
This is a pre-application to find out if we can even submit an application for funds.
Okay. And any communication back from Mr. Becker?
No. No. He knows that the application was being submitted. So I would recommend we move this to an update item, as we don't really know Department of Homeland Security's or FEMA's timeline on this.
I agree.
It could be a week, it could be 6 months, but if we move it to an update item, we can, you know, report every month that we have no update, or we have an update.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So if we move that to an update item. All right, on to the next item in old business, Lynn's Way, specifically Carey Street.
So letters went out to property owners this afternoon, letting them know that they need to have everything out of the easements, in which we met with the homeowners on site. We're anticipating starting construction the week of September 27th. Any property owners who would need the temporary fencing, such as snow fencing, would need to call Public Works to arrange for that, as well as they are responsible for calling 811 for their locates before we'll come out and put that up.
Gotcha.
So that project is moving along. We anticipate it won't be completed till the spring, though, for the restoration, because we do have to allow the soil to settle. Otherwise, we'll be going back and forth and back and forth. Odds are we'll let people put their fences back up as long as they give us access to get back there to restore it in the spring.
And the restore, it's adding minimal soil and then seed?
Correct.
Correct.
It's just that when you put the pipe in, the ground's going to settle. So we'll give it some settle time, and then we'll go back out and restore it.
That's good news.
So that project's moving forward, so again, that, if you are okay with it, we'll move that to an update item.
Absolutely.
And, excuse me, we've made it clear to the property owners that putting their fences or any other encumbrances in the way is not an option for them, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Jill, I'm sorry, when was the expected start date?
The week of September 27th.
Thank you. Next one is drainage issues at 9080 West 129th.
So this is one where we were reaching out to the property owners. I have not heard anything back from them yet. I'll do one more reach to see if we can get some consideration on that, and then we will consider our avenue and route forward from there.
Other than no communication, that's pretty much it?
Correct. because we were asking them if they were okay with us having an easement. One of the parcels is being built on, so it's kind of between a builder and a property owner right now. And we were also looking at funding on that project as well, and waiting for the numbers to come in on what's way.
All right, moving on to update items on Sherman Street.
Nothing to report on that one. That's just kind of sitting out there for either a singular project or combine it with the overall subdivision project.
That was one we had said, I believe, in the last meeting to leave it on there for an update to see if we hear from anyone, and we have not heard from any of the property owners in that area.
All right, keep it on as an update item, and if we can include it in the larger project down the line, want to be able to. Moving on to public works projects, 137th and Lowell.
I don't believe there's any change on this one. It's on Tim's list of things to do, flipping a 6-inch ductile iron pipe on the north part of Lowerman over to an existing 8-inch drain tile that goes through Cedar Lake Ministries. I know those guys are backed up, so he's aware of it. That's all I know.
It's on the list.
It's on.
You meant the north side of 137th, right?
It's actually on the south side of 137th, so
Okay.
it'd be just south of that crosswalk right there. It'd be under Lowerman.
Okay. For 4 months, I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. Jeff Bungie. Bungie.
He's online too. Cool. He's allowed to talk if he'd like to speak. Tim and I talked about this. We've talked about it the last couple of months. I think it's finally moving up on his list. I think they called in locates for it. The thought is to install a ductile iron pipe under his front part of his driveway and try to collect as much right-of-way drainage as we can. His house sits pretty low, so there's not a whole lot we can do kind of to take his, once we get off the right-of-way, it still keeps falling. So it makes it extremely difficult to try to collect anything from the north. I'll get there. Hold on a second here. That's his parcel. You can see he's probably 3+ feet below edge of pavement. And even
It's probably right at 3 feet, yes.
3 feet, yeah. And even as a lot of that is contributed not only from the road, but also from his northern neighbors, which we really don't have access to. So that becomes extremely difficult to collect that unless we start getting onto private property and turning it away. So like I said, we can slide something under his driveway within the right of way and try to reestablish, which may or may not have been one day kind of a roadside swale, but I'm not even guaranteeing that's going to do a whole lot. But that's what we can do in the right of way. Otherwise, we're getting off right of way. And even then, we're getting far off right of way to do it.
Are we really batting at flies here?
I mean, Tim was going to shoot it with one of my field guys with a laser and see what kind of ball we can get on it, and see if we can actually get some semblance of a ditch on the east side of the road. We don't have curb to collect it. It's really the only way we can collect it. But like I said, I mean, probably 6 lots to the north, almost all the way up to 146. That's all the residential lots off the right of way are coming down that way as well. And kind of get down towards where his driveway connects into his house. And there's just a very low opening right there that's very difficult to control drainage from. So even if we could take all of the right of way and divert it around his house, I think he would still have drainage that would beeline towards that low spot.
Well, 3 feet is
Yeah,
pretty hard to stop.
it makes it very hard to even try to collect right of way drainage, especially without curb and gutter. It's virtually impossible on a crown road like this.
Do they still make those line drains where they come up to the actual elevation of the road? We used to put them in like expressway.
And they call them
bridges.
they call them slotted drains.
Yeah,
Slotted
that's
trench
it.
drains, yeah.
Do they still make those with
Yeah.
that? That's very expensive though,
You
right?
see them mostly used on highway drainages
Sure.
for median type uses. Problem with those is that it can bypass them pretty easily and they clog. That's why they're good on strictly hard surface collections, because you're not getting necessarily the leaves and all the stuff that gets in there, and it's, you know, got a nice little depression to kind of funnel it to it. We don't really have that. I mean, because really, your trench drains aren't much wider than that, so you have to have pretty good, call it focus, to get to where you want it to go, and we don't have that.
Okay.
I mean, we're worried about putting in a 6-inch, you know, driveway culvert and actually having water get to it, is the problem.
Is the road paved?
Yeah, it's not in the best shape by any means.
He has a very, kind way of saying that, it's very, very badly deteriorated.
Yeah, it's probably a 1 or 2 on our scale. Yeah, definitely not in great shape by any means. So, I mean, and the road's kind of off-center to the center line of the right-of-way, so you can kind of see it up there. So actually on the east side, as we get further and further towards Mr. Bunge's house, the edge of pavement's actually right on the right-of-way limit. So we don't have a lot of like room to even play with. You can see it's, the center line's actually on the west side of edge of pavement. It's actually a pretty wide right-of-way for some of these older subdivisions, 30 feet, but it's off-center. So that also kind of limits what we can do on that side of the right-of-way as well.
And putting something on the west side of the road wouldn't help it either?
Again, getting the water to it without curbing it is difficult. I mean, we have a decent outlet for the end of the road, because the road falls north to south, and we can get it around his parcel and then get it heading east to Cedar Creek over here. It's just a matter of, you know, can we collect enough to A, make a difference, and can we just collect enough in the first place? I mean, you could even put like an inlet out on the road, but I don't think you'd get much water going to it.
Okay.
It just kind of sheet flows off the road right now. So Jeff, I don't know, I think that's something you may have tried in the past, is you kind of have a hump at the beginning of your driveway. I'm guessing that was to kind of try to divert it, not down your driveway, but south?
We've tried multiple little mini dam projects over the years, and they work for a while, and then they compact, or they get damaged from the vehicular traffic, and then they start sinking, and then I'm still in the same boat again, because of the sheeting, like you said, of the water down the street.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just not an easy thing to correct, let's put it that way. I mean, it's not the best solution, but that's what we're going with now, I guess, to see if that helps at all. I mean, any kind of swale on the east side of the road is not going to be very big.
No.
But it may collect them and divert some from the driveway, which may help, but I can't make any guarantees it's going to help significantly.
Because when Tyler and I were out there looking at it, it'd be almost like we would just scratch the surface just to get it enough.
Yeah.
to kind of like swale down, but there's, I don't know.
Yeah, not a lot of room to do a whole lot. But that's what we're looking at now.
Jeff, any thoughts or comments?
Well, I've just been kind of sitting tight all summer long. I do have a paving contractor, kind of on board. I was going to replace the blacktop of my, or the deuterium blacktop of my driveway. And we talked about a trench drain that ran down the south side of the driveway, closest to the garage, to carry what we could, you know, away from the house and then at least into the front yard where the hill would take that off of the hard surface. So, I mean, we've got a little bit of a plan as far as what to do with the driveway after the water gets to the driveway. But, you know, with that little rain that we had, what day did we get that 3/4 inch of rain one day last week pretty quickly? You know, it was still my little dam system was overrun, and I was out there trying to fight to keep it away from the front of my house. And that was just last week.
Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, you have something going across your driveway now, right? Just outside your garage, or like a small plastic pipe going under it, or no?
In the driveway?
Yeah, like really close to your house, kind of where that low spot on the driveway is?
I do. I have a little trench drain there that actually drains to the north between me and my northern neighbor.
Gotcha. I mean, that would be a recommendation, is try to, obviously you have water coming right towards the northwest corner of your house, you know, just kind of simplify it. Would be to either try to get it down your northern side yard or get it across and south, but then it looks like you'd have to go through your walkway area up to your house. I don't know if that's an option or not.
Huh? I'm always looking for options.
Yeah, so I guess from a public standpoint, we can try to run with that driveway culvert and see what we can collect. I mean, you look perplexed, Dan.
No, I'm not perplexed, and, you know, how long has this been going on, Jeff?
Decades, 30 plus years that I'm aware of.
Okay, you know, I'd like to be able to fix it, but it doesn't sound like a 6-inch drain is gonna save his garage or his house. Now, you know, I was just thinking, while you were talking and listening to you, wouldn't he be better off just digging a big ditch along the side of his house, in front of his house, and possibly putting in like a 2-foot culvert and bury it so the water could convey to the south? Because that's where the water needs to go. I don't understand why
It wants to
you
go
want
through.
the water to flow backwards.
No, it wants to go, no, we're not going north. Like, we're trying to take it south.
That's what he did.
Yeah, well, you can dig a trench on the north side of his house and try to get it down his northern property line and get it out. He's got to fall that way, and he has to fall south. Kind of has to fall east and south. Problem is, the water wants to go right where his house is. So he got to get around it at that point. But he does have pretty good fall, you know, to the south and to the east. And even the road falls relatively hard to the south from his driveway south. We'd have to get through the end of it where there's some like scrub brush and trees there, but that's not a big deal.
Is there a building here?
There is a shed there, I believe.
Shed.
Yeah.
What about a landscape berm?
Well, that's kind of what we would end up doing if we dug a swale on the east side of the road. I mean, essentially we would, try to get a V-notch swale as big as we could and essentially, backcast that, that dirt kind of in the same area and essentially call it a landscape, gutter in a way, or berm line.
Yeah, 'cause we don't even have to dig the swale that far on the south, because it's got such fall.
It's got pretty good pitch. We would just have to kind of clean out the right of way once we get south of his driveway, because then the grade will take over. I mean, we have almost 4 feet of fall from his driveway to the south right of way limit.
It's just getting it past the driveway itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct, yep.
So, not the best idea, but it might help a little bit. I mean, if we can take some of the water off of it, it might help. I don't, those hard-hitting rains of, an inch an hour or something like that, those are extremely hard to control. Especially if we don't have curb and gutter and storm sewer to help. But perhaps this will take some of the right-of-way drainage off and provide some relief, but I can't guarantee it. So.
And from the edge of the pavement that you estimated to the eastern edge of the right-of-way, you think, Don, is how far?
Not much at all, maybe a foot or two. So the road is relatively centered in the right-of-way at 146th, but it starts kind of diving southeast. By the time it gets to your parcel, just looking at the aerial right now, it's almost, the existing pavement's really close to the right-of-way. It may only be a foot or two. Without actually getting, kind of lining up your two property corners, it would know exactly, but it's close.
And even a moderate curb would be out of the question?
Yeah, because the problem is, if you look at contours, it's all kind of sheet flowing southeast. There's no semblance of anything that's really catching drainage on the edge of pavement. So you would have to run a curb, pretty much that entire length of road to really collect it well. Essentially, when we stop our ditch, or even stop a curb line for that matter, it would just sheet flow off wherever it terminated. So you would have to run it for quite a while to make, a huge effect. Because the houses to the west, I mean, they're actually crowned, so the fronts of those guys actually go out to Morse. We're only taking maybe half of those lots into Bell. So, and then we have a majority of the lots north of you coming towards you, so it's difficult to collect, let's put it that way.
Well, any recommendation or any help that you think you can afford me, I think would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, we can move forward with it and see. I mean, I think Tim was gonna meet my guy out there tomorrow or later this week to run some levels out there, run some level runs, lasers, and see what we can find. I know he was supposed to call in locates. I don't know if he's done that or not, but.
Who was gonna call?
Tim.
Tim.
Yeah. I mean, that should probably take a day.
Yeah, it's not a big project, so, yeah, I mean, we have to get enough cover on it so Jeff can actually, still build a driveway over it. That's really pretty much why we're limited to 6-inch pipe. We don't have a lot of fall through the driveway, but it should be enough.
Yeah.
So, next steps in the process is reviewing what the plan would be, have you guys go out there and shoot it, and then having a proposed plan next meeting.
We were just gonna do it.
You're just gonna do it?
Yep. We'll see how it works.
Yeah, once Tim gives me the okay, we can go out there and do it.
It's not an expensive fix, for one thing, so, I mean, we can go ahead and do it and just, we'll check out rains and when, it rains and see how, if it's doing a whole lot on it. Yeah, not gonna hurt to do it, let's put it that way. Just gonna see how much it'll help. That sound good, Jeff?
Yep, sure does. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, and you too, Joe.
Some of it would be part of almost ditch maintenance within our right of way.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it in the right of way as much as we can, but you can see that the pavement's pretty dang close. We'll do our best.
All right. Moving on to public comment.
If I could, before you move on to
Absolutely.
public comment, I had received a call from the Jameses, who run Harry-O's, having issues with their entrances and the holes and the drainage. One of the things we were going to discuss at our utility meeting at a staff level was this project, because NDOT's saying it's ours. We think NDOT said any pipe is theirs. I know you made a recommendation and a motion at your last meeting, but I wanted to let you know this is something, our utility meeting was deferred to this week on Thursday, so staff hasn't had a chance to meet and discuss this and fully vet it. But it is one of the things they have reached back out to the town on, so I wanted to make sure I at least informed you of that.
Just a quick question. Why would this be any different than Harry-O's?
That is one of the things I want to discuss at a staff level with our town manager to make sure there is no responsibility of the town. From our understanding is when it's pipe in the ground, it appears to be an NDOT responsibility. And who would have that communication with NDOT? Would that be the town manager, the director of operations? And wanted to vet that and make sure that Tim, Rick, and everyone was on board, as well as with your recommendation that we're not doing anything within NDOT's right-of-way. So I just wanted to communicate that information to you.
Thank you.
And I gave each one of you a package of communications Don had with NDOT, and so I copied all that and gave it to everybody.
So,
It's just more for information that the staff, that the Jameses had reached out to us, that they're saying, NDOT's saying it's our responsibility. I was saying what you had recommended and stated in your meeting, and I needed to get the communication with the town manager as well, and who would have that communication with NDOT. Unfortunately, our department meeting, as far as utilities goes, was deferred to this week, which falls after your meeting.
understood.
Thank you.
And then it's gonna be getting torn up in,
Couple of years.
2 years.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to public comment. Please approach the podium, state your name and address.
My name is Jim Macedono. I live at, my home is 8731 Buckridge Court in Havenwood subdivision. I had a couple questions for the board and maybe give you some advice. I have a retaining wall. It's about 5 foot. It's a big block, and by the property line, you know, there was a hill there. I've been here 18 years. I had it redone a couple times, once, and it's about 5 foot high, and it steps down, and at the top, it's a little top heavy. It's starting to lean a touch. I was thinking of taking 2 layers of the block. You have a landscaper come in, taking 2 layers off, the blocks off, take it down to like 3 feet, and shave my yard a little to match up with the top of the retaining wall after it's taken down. My question is, how do I go about that? Do I need a permit? Do I need an inspector? And my concern is, if it's shaved down, I don't want to, you know, any drainage problem on neighbors or, you know, running into problems later on, you know. And my question is to the board, how, you know, I mean, a landscaper would do it. I mean, it's been a problem there. I've been there 18 years. The builder put up a retaining wall, and it lasted 6 years. It was just Menards brick. There was no stone behind there, and it started looking shabby after 6 years, and so I figured out, pretty it up, and I had a landscaper come in, take it down, put another one up. But he put it up like where it was, so it was over the property line, so this is 13 years ago, so, and then I found I had my lot, surveyed, so I had no problem with that, I don't want to be over the lot, property line no more than my neighbor wants me there, so took it down and put this up, and it kind of went high, so now I'm looking at the future, I might have to do something with this. Can the town give me any advice, on how to cut this back? So, I mean, it wouldn't bother the neighbors. There's a sewer right there, I mean, can I just do that, have the landscaper do that, and I would be okay?
Building department?
Pardon me?
Building department?
Building department, or you might want to reach out to your own surveyor?
No,
Well-
you're talking about, we're doing something, well, we've had, for your property, your neighbor to the southeast has come before this board in the past.
Yeah, I know they have,
800, I think it's a new owner now, it looks like.
no, they're still there.
Are they?
They have a problem with their yards,
Yeah, draining, I think it's more back here.
yeah, so I'm up the hill from them.
Yep.
They're down the hill, there's two neighbors there, they have problems.
So you just wanna take off, do you wanna shorten your wall?
Yeah, because it's starting to lean a little, and instead of replacing the whole wall, I'm thinking of, just when I'm thinking, I talked with, T&J landscapers out here, they come out and, before I have them come out and do something, I mean, I wanna know, would I be all right shaving that back? I mean, there would be no problem with the town, and I don't believe at all I'd be bothering my neighbors,
I mean, if you're just, essentially shortening your wall and grading your slopes back, I mean, that's a private issue. I don't even know, you might need a permit for that. I think it's kind of outside of this board. That'd be more of a building department question, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, the reason I came to the storm board water, because I'm thinking, somebody would say, hey, you cut back your yard, it's water and come down on me, because they got problems there already, and
I mean,
I wouldn't be causing
Are
a
you
problem.
adding
I would
that
be,
bill?
No, I think you'd actually be cutting it down a little bit. I don't think it'd be that big of an issue.
No,
I mean,
because-
No, drainage wise, no, I mean, the water's gonna still head that way anyway.
yeah, and there's a sewer right there,
Yeah.
I mean, I've been there 18 years dealing with it, so, I probably can't even do nothing this fall, I'm talking to a few landscapers, and if the board knows any good landscapers, if they could give me a recommendation, I'll try to use them, I mean.
We don't do that.
Your building
Oh.
department can provide
Alright.
you a list of
I got-
licensed contractors.
Yeah, I got T&J, they came out, Red Bud, yeah, but anyway, I guess I'd be all right just cutting it back and
You can check with the building department with Michelle or Tammy in the morning, and
yeah.
double check with them that there's no permits required.
And then, that's the two girls at the front counter.
Yeah, I spoke to Michelle before,
Okay.
she's the building administrator,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I talked to them, and, so, yeah, I was just concerned about me, I don't think it'd be any problem, but I didn't know if I had to get it, through the board or what, but.
No, it'd be more of a building department question. I don't think you would have any issues with changing drainage, at least based on the counters I'm looking at now. And I've been out there because of the other property.
Yeah, you see my retaining wall there?
Yeah, I've seen it, I remember it.
Yeah. It looks nice, but it's, the top is starting to lean, and probably be all right a couple of years, I'm just looking at, probably couldn't do nothing until maybe early spring anyway,
Yeah.
because these guys are all booked up, and, it's already middle of September, and, so after October, you can't really do much of that stuff.
No, I mean, you're just gonna have a steeper side slope, but that would just mainly affect you.
Yeah, that would just affect my yard, I mean, I would cut it back far enough so it's not, if the landscaper could cut it back, it would just, I would lose a little yard, but,
Yeah. No, I don't think it's an issue drainage wise.
yeah, okay,
So it'd just be a building question probably.
just make sure I don't need a permit, or
Yeah.
tell her, yeah, okay, then, have the landscaper do it whenever they can do it, or,
Probably in the spring.
yeah, I'm thinking so, you know.
You can probably do it over a couple weekends.
Yeah, I get my shovel out there, yeah, just take a little bobcat there, come back there, you know, yeah, still work it out, but yeah, I just wanna make sure I'm doing the right thing before I get people out there and do it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for your help.
All right, if there's nothing else, no comments online?
No, sir.
All right, then we'll move the, meeting to adjournment. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
You all,